All right, LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn connects the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful and transform the way companies hire, market, sell, and learn. Our vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce through the ongoing development of the world's first economic graph, a digital representation of the global economy. In addition, our vision is to create an economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Oh, okay. I get it. Through the ongoing development of the world's first economic graph, a digital representation of the global economy. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I think Twitter, because Elon Musk owns Twitter now, is wanting to get someone involved into this, but it's not just the economic. He's trying to get everyone involved in every area, whether it's politicians. He's trying to do that with Twitter. It's going to be pretty interesting, but he's trying to do most of all like a marketplace. But I'm pretty sure Microsoft is probably doing the same thing in terms of, that's the thing when a company has platforms like these in their companies, in order to put that platform into a new area of the marketplace, because they already have the clients to push it in. That's what Apple does so well in their own type of clients. They're able to push towards new type of products because they're able to put the old clients and slowly morph into the products that they're using towards the products that they want to innovate. And then now it's easier to transition them to the new, complete different product when they've been already adapting to it. That happens all the time. That's when they widely accepted the product, and that's when the company makes billions and billions. In addition to LinkedIn's free services, LinkedIn offers monetized solutions, talent solutions, marketing solutions, premium subscriptions, and sales solutions. Talent Solutions provides insights from workforce planning and tools to hire, nurture, and develop talent. Talent Solutions also includes learning solutions, which help the businesses close critical skills gaps in times where companies are having to do more with the existing talent. Marketing Solutions help companies reach and engage and convert their audiences at scale. Premium Subscriptions enables professionals to manage their professional identity, grow their network, and connect with talent through additional services like Premium Search. Sales Solutions help companies strengthen customer relationships, empower teams with digital selling tools, and acquire new opportunities. LinkedIn has over 850 million members, has offices around the globe. Growth will depend on our ability to increase the number of LinkedIn members and our ability to continue offering services that provide value for our members and increase their engagement. LinkedIn revenue is mainly affected by the demand from enterprises and professional organizations for subscriptions to talent solutions. Okay, sales solutions and premium subscription offerings, as well as member engagement and the quality of the sponsored content delivered to those members to drive marketing solutions. So it's essentially a means of digital business automating problem solving. But look, the effective thing here for any business, which is always going to drive consumer, is to know, okay, where's everyone at? Where's all the consumers? Where's all the business? Where are they comprising? Where are they networking? Well, that's for sure in LinkedIn. I don't know about any other website, but that's because I don't have a high competency when it comes to that. But I know LinkedIn is definitely huge when it comes to that. People are going to market still because they need the talent, they need employees, they need businesses to realize them. It's actually in LinkedIn. I've seen a lot of people use LinkedIn as a means of getting a list and start sending email campaigns to these people a lot. It's turned to marketing solutions. So yeah, it's a marketplace. Remember that, where's the biggest marketplace in terms of the niche of where people want to connect with the business? Okay. Yes, of course it's on social media, but are people going to click in with the needance? Is that where the area of businesses are wanting to be in terms of connection? Not a lot of businesses are going to be watching videos on YouTube a lot. They need to focus on their business. They need to hire talent. They need to do their business operations. Now they can do a lot of their business operations to keep getting talent, to promote them, and to show collaboration with other businesses in terms of a marketplace to collaborate, which is LinkedIn professionally through business collaborations. You don't really get that on YouTube. You get more of business to client. Rather here, it's also business to employee, really. Like you get employee and business to business. So you see it's different, but that's a place that they're also dominant at, because I don't see anything in terms of a professional business place like that is better than LinkedIn. I'm not sure. We can check cloud. Okay, here's the thing that's very important that we all have to understand. Cloud is going to heavily, I just realized this, cloud is going to heavily, and I think you guys just did too. Cloud is going to heavily change this. Why? Because look, if a lot of businesses get into cloud in terms of Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud or a lot of these things, they're going to utilize automatically their terms of apps to sell it directly towards their customers, and they're going to automatically marketplace with this area. This is starting to happen. It hasn't officially, it's been happening, right? But it hasn't leaded enormously yet, but it's going to, right? So I'm not saying that this is going to threat it. In fact, this is an advantage for Microsoft. You want to know why? Because they can use all those people in LinkedIn and slowly get them into an application and a software that Windows can provide, automatically, I think that already exists. I'm pretty sure there has to be. And that automatically links them to the work that they have in Microsoft Azure with their collaborator. I can already see that. That's going to be heavily advanced with cloud. No, so Amazon doesn't have a disadvantage with that because Amazon already has the people. Why would people switch to another place if everyone is there? One of the things that would happen was if another company would have to provide a cloud base that already is compatible with the other person's products to use it in an efficient way and to get advanced features. Here's the thing that's an advantage with companies that own their products. You want to know the advantage? When a company owns its products or services and another company tries to do what I was about to say, they're able to be compatible with these other products that the other people are heavily entrenched, like Gmail, Outlook, and Excel, but they're not able to provide a payment solution and where you can get guaranteed a better professional workspace that can connect even more efficient and a better payment using the third party's users, because you don't own the company. You're collaborating with this company. But what Microsoft and many companies have been doing for many years now is that they've been slowly, getting to areas in cloud. Why? Because they own the products they have. When they own the products they have, they can get the own clients and what the others want to do, get into their own business and offer much more attractive prices, offer much more attractive features than any other, because they're so heavily entrenched in that they have their data in these apps. I just realized that cloud is gonna definitely become like that, but it's not gonna threaten Microsoft. Because Microsoft has Outlook. It's just not going to stop. Like Microsoft has 365. They have the operating system in their application. It would be way too hard. They have now the browser. They have, gaming, but that's not as relevant. And then they have their cloud. So the chances of another company using cloud and trying to take market share, which they can, but it would require a very significant feature that hasn't been done yet, and where a person would rather go to a place and where it has a little less compatibility compared to Microsoft and a better, lower pricing plan. And it really has to be a place and where it gives you something unique that you can connect with a client better, or maybe it connects better with the search. But even then, like, people don't need that if it comes to business, and business to business. You already have like email, so it's hard. That's definitely hard because it doesn't give you as much options to kind of work with. What you can do is just make like a CRM. That's what a company would do. Like that's what Salesforce did. They came from Oracle. Yeah. Anyways, Microsoft has a huge connection. It's a connection company, right? Look at what we've seen. It's literally a collaboration, consumer and business company. Google's the same. Google's the same thing with connection, but Google's a highly advertisable. What's the same? It's connection. It's highly advertisable. An advertising company. Google makes more of it. 90% of the revenue that comes in from Google is purely advertising. Not much are going to affect that as a scenario. So I was going to search up LinkedIn. What are better collaborations? Oh, okay. I've heard of this. Yeah, I've heard of that. Facebook? No. Facebook's not. Because Facebook doesn't have, because remember what I said, it's literally like that. They don't have these products that they own. Facebook just has social media. And Facebook will do well in that. It's just that they don't have. It's more of the business to the consumer, heavily as an advertising company to the consumer. Those other companies, I don't even know. I never heard of them. But LinkedIn has a huge advantage, which is its owners. You can connect easier with these different emails. It's not going to stop. No, it's not. So that's a dominant area, right? Dynamics. Dynamics provide cloud-based and on-premises business solutions for financial and management, enterprises, resource planning, CRM, supply chain management, and other application development platforms for small and medium businesses, large organizations, and divisions of global enterprises. Dynamics revenue is driven by the number of users, license, and applications consumed. Expansion of average revenue per user and the continued shift to Dynamics 365, a unified set of cloud-based intelligent businesses applications, including Power Apps and Power Automate. Yeah, it's really just the same thing what we read before. It's more an ERP and CRM with involving cloud. But Dynamics is heavily influenced in revenue through the number of users that have license and applications consumed, the average expansion of revenue per user, shift to 365, and so people moving to 365, a set of cloud-based intelligent business applications, like the cloud, what I just said, including Power Apps and Power Automate, which are part of the Microsoft Power. Where is it? Power Platform. That's what it was. Remember? Power Platform. Low code, no code. Remember the visual business intelligence. All right. So here, competition. So competition to Office includes software and global application vendors such as Apple, Apple's not. Cisco Systems, no. Meta, no. Google, no. IBM, no. Okta, no. Proofpoint, no. Slack, no. Symantec, no. Zoom, no. Not even close. Numerous web-based and mobile applications competitors, as well as local application developers. Apple disbursements versions of its pre-installed application software, such as email and calendar products, through its PCs, tablets, and phones. Cisco is using its position in enterprise communications equipment to grow its unified communication businesses. Cisco is not a, but what I know, but you see how they even show the competitors directly. That's why I like to look at this, because they have to. It's by law. So Google provides a hosted messaging and productivity suite. I know that. Slack provides teamwork and collaboration software. Zoom offers video conferencing and cloud phone solutions. Okta, Proofpoint, and Symantec provide security solutions across email security, information protection, identity, and governance. Okay, but it's just security. It's not a. This is not going to take down Outlook, not at all. From what it has in overall, that's the thing you have to. So web based, but again, this is what I understand, right? What I understand can be different from you. Web based, but it makes logical sense to me. So web based offerings competing with individual applications have also positioned themselves as alternatives to our products and services. We compete by providing powerful, flexible, secure, integrated, industry-specific, and easy-to-use productivity collaboration tools, services that create comprehensive solutions and work well with technologies our customers already have both on premises or in the cloud. That's the effectiveness. LinkedIn faces competition from online professional networks, recruiting companies, talent and management companies, larger companies that are too focused on talent, human resources services, job boards traditionally, companies that provide learning development products and services. Marketing solutions competes with online and offline outlets that generate revenue from advertising and marketers. And the sales solutions compete with online and offline outlets for companies with lead generation and customer intelligence and insights. Okay, but look, Dynamics competes with cloud-based, because that's a cloud-based business analytics with such as Oracle and Salesforce. Yeah, but Salesforce does not have, Salesforce literally relies on a cloud-based provider. So that's not the same. And Oracle, they're involved in cloud and license, right? Let's see what that specifically means, because that's sort of kind of black and white. Oh, okay, cloud software as a service. Okay, that's different though. That's not the same. That's the same thing as Salesforce. Microsoft is not a SaaS company or an Oracle. Microsoft provides, I think it's called PaaS. Yeah, platform as a service. Right? It's a cloud computing model where a third-party provider delivers hardware and software tools to users over the internet. That's what Microsoft does. That's the difference. And then they also offer a provider for cloud. But yeah, cloud service providers. But you see, like Oracle does not do that. Oracle has a SaaS. That's the same thing what Salesforce does, because they don't provide cloud, right? They give us software that's in the cloud, but they don't provide the cloud. They're more of a competitor when it comes to essentially cloud as software, but that's not even as effective. Why would you have a cloud software as a service rather than having a provider for that cloud in the first place? Oh, okay, no. Your software in the cloud, but you see they're not providing the cloud. Let me see. Does Oracle provide? Oh no, so they do that. Okay. You see, that's not something that you see. There's things that you have to understand, learn from. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that they owned Java, and offers provides customers a choice of software and applications that are delivered via cloud-based IT environment that we deploy, manage, and upgrade and support, and that customers purchase by entering into subscription agreement with us for a stated period. Customer access or Oracle Cloud SaaS offerings utilize common web browsers via a broad spectrum of devices. Our SaaS offerings are built upon open industry standards such as SQL, Java, and HTML5 for easier application accessibilities. Integration and development. Our SaaS offerings represent an industry-leading business innovation platform, leveraging Oracle's next-generation cloud infrastructure, and include a broad suite of a modular next-generation cloud software application spanning all core business functions, including Oracle Fusion Cloud Enterprise Resources, which is designed to complete a global and integrated ERP solution. It's like part of the managing the business to help organizations improve decisions making and workforce productivity, and to optimize back office operations by utilizing a single data and security model with a common user interface. Oracle Fusion Enterprises Performance Management, which is designed to analyze financial performance, drive accurate and agile financial plans, optimize the financial close and consolidation process, streamline account. If I remember, Oracle has always been somewhat involved with the cloud, but Oracle hasn't been able to get a lot of the things that Microsoft does, which is going to make it very tough for Oracle. I would say this: Oracle is more of a competitor, more with Amazon than with Microsoft or with Google. You want to know why? Amazon does not make actually a lot of its money from e-commerce. It does not make a lot of its money from e-commerce. In fact, it was losing money for a long time. What was making Amazon a lot of the money for many of the years has actually been its Amazon Web Services, right? That's what's been making it profitable. But Amazon doesn't have anything involved with with like direct computing. They don't have like apps. They don't have the search. They don't have a device. They only have an e-commerce site, and it's like the same with Oracle. So yeah, there's competition. That's for sure. There's competition. Oracle Fusion Surface and Marketing, which are modules that are designed to complete and integrate solutions to help organizations deliver consistent, personalized customer experience across their customer channels, touchpoint, and interactions. NetSuite Application System Suite is designed to be a unified cloud application suite to run a company's entire business, including financials and ERP, customer relation management, human resources, professional service, and commerce, among others. Our NetSuite applications are generally marketed to small and medium-sized organizations. They're advanced with business automation, basically business automation. Oracle advertising, which enables organizations to leverage their own data and but it's like a third party, right? Oracle is most of all like a third party. Their third party means where you put the data and it shows you where you can put it into your customer, but they don't have the access to actually market it because they're not Google. They can't market it to YouTube. They can't do it through LinkedIn, right? That's the thing. They're only facilitated in this cloud with businesses that are only restricted. That's the thing that's kind of the bad thing about Oracle, that it's restricted within Oracle. It's like Samsung. It reminds me of Samsung. It's the cloud within, right? With connection, like if you connect with the client, right? But these people are going to be already within Oracle, right? It's going to be harder. Now, I'm not saying that it's actually not going to be, right? It's not going to be hard for Oracle to connect with Microsoft or none of this stuff, but they have to literally connect with those people. So you see how that doesn't make sense? This company is well in automation, but let's say its clients are coming and are still coming from the people who want to choose to be in Oracle. They don't have the means to track to, like what I just said, to get into the emails and a lot of this stuff because it's hardly compatible, and Microsoft is already offering that for their own services, and Google's already offering that for their own services to people who already have Gmail. So it's kind of now the only way how I would say that Oracle is a better approach to cloud is if they have a significant difference in terms of their cloud automation, their cloud approach in using the clients. Before this, I don't really see much of a difference compared to Azure or Amazon Web Services. So you see how we're gathering the information, and this is where I make a thin line, even though we're going to discuss further additional values of what Microsoft has. But already, I'm going to tell you, whenever I spot this sort of unsurety in which one's better, because there is an inherent difference, I don't invest into that company. Especially when that company, most of all, especially if that company's source, like let's say the cloud, was the big source coming from the revenue, because the company depends on that segment. I don't like that the industry's companies, like the biggest companies in that industry, don't have a distinct difference with each other. Most of all, the company that we're looking in Microsoft. Sure, Microsoft has differences compared to Amazon Web Services and Google, as I've explained when it comes to data integration and search. But those aren't means of which people are going to hardcore move to Microsoft, preferably because they need that service, right? So that has more to do with what the core value of what the company is. That means that there isn't much demand for that, which means that demand on data integration isn't a hard thing, because that data integration that Microsoft is doing is not significant compared to Amazon Web Services or Google. Sure, there are differences, minor in there, where people will move to, but there's not that huge difference. I don't like companies that don't have a huge difference, because those are companies, in my view, of which aren't the best. I like when there's that difference of product or service value, of which there's a distinct primary value of what that company is. Microsoft has it on, of course, you guys know, data integration. But I don't like that the demand for that data integration isn't so urgent. That way that people are, if they're Amazon Web Services, they just stick with Amazon Web Services, even though they might think that Microsoft Azure has better data integration, but they're not going to use data integration for that because maybe it's cheaper. I don't like that sort of way of using the product, because it doesn't make the product inherently better. It actually makes it vulnerable towards any swings when it comes to
another company doing another product or service development, and then I can take a few market share. I don't like that competition. I like when there's a distinct difference already, that people actually need the demand of the primary value of that product, like whether that's data integration, and people are fully on that. Or same thing is said with Google. People really need the search on Google. So they don't care if they might get the less of the data integration, but they fully need the search, right? I don't see that either with cloud. So you see, maybe that's just me. You see, like I'm saying it, the whole thing of what we're discussing here and the whole point of this video is so I can show you a relative example of how you go about when you're analyzing a company and how to go about, most importantly, knowing your competency. You can see in these videos, you can understand my competency, of which I'm competent at and what I'm not competent at. From my limit, so you can see here that I'm reaching my limit of my competency. That's what actually Warren Buffett says when you reach your edge of your competency. It's far more important to know the edge of your competency than to trying to be very smart. And that's the point that we're getting here. You don't want to break your edge of competency, or else everything that you're going to see is going to break upon out of illogical reasons. So for me, I don't see a logical reason of like that distinct difference, because I don't see a primary value. I don't see a core value in the product that people would rather demand, even if another company is doing something better. Let me show you an example. This is why I invest in Apple. Again, I'm not saying this as that you need to invest just because I'm saying it. I'm just saying something that I'm competent at, right? Don't invest in anything that I say just because I'm saying that it's a really great company and I invest in it. I invest in it because I did the research and I understand the company because it's in my competency, okay? Just understand that, because I want, the whole point of these videos is so that you can adopt this way of analyzing. That way, whatever you're going to invest in, whether I agree with you or not, has nothing to do with that. You invested in the company because you saw the value there, okay? But out of that, this is the point why I invest in Apple, because Apple has a core value and what makes around their products that I really like that no other company does. And that comes upon, let's say, product compatibility, and especially a culture around their products. When we compare this case with cloud compared to Apple, Apple doesn't have those problems. Even if they're somewhat involved in the industry, they don't have that problem because the type of value that they're doing in their products. The product distinction is that people would rather move into Apple, even if another company is doing something technically better, because Apple has an image, most of all, has a product quality and has a reputation from that quality and the features that it always delivers better products, not newer products, not the most innovative, but they bring innovation in a great way towards what people, let's say, wanted, but they didn't expect. And that's what I love. I love Apple that has that combination of still giving people what they wanted, but giving something that they didn't expect, and that urges huge amount of buying. And there's always demand for that. Those are the type of businesses that I understand and that I'm competent at, because I know that there's an unlimited amount of demand for that type of thing. But when we're talking about like this in cloud, you see how you don't really see that, or at least for me, I don't really see that nature. You can see that I've been analyzing that. I've been going, okay, but here in Oracle, all this type of stuff, there's no really clear distinctions, okay? And yeah, of course, guys, Microsoft is an incredible company. I mean, it's a really good company, but you need to remember here that we're not here, right? The point of diamond investing is you're not here to find great companies. You're here to find the best companies you can see, you can view, right? And if you view a company like this, from what my competency is that I can give you, is that I have in my view that I can find a better company than Microsoft. Even though Microsoft to many people could be a really good company, right? But I don't care that it's a really good company, because I can think of other companies in my head that don't have this problem because they have a much more significant core value compared to Microsoft. Even though, because this is a distinct difference that I think a lot of people do not have when they have investing, and I think this is something I should clear up. Just because someone uses an item a lot of the times doesn't mean that that's the best company. Why? Because sometimes relying on one thing is not great, because it doesn't move well when evolution comes in. And I'm not talking about innovation. I'm talking most of all consumer behavior, right? Consumer behavior moves everything. If that company doesn't have a huge margin of difference when it comes to moving their clients to wherever they want to go, in my view, that could be Apple, right? Because Apple has created literally an environment in the clients. What I mean by environment and ecosystem, I'm talking about not in the company, sure, in the company, but I'm talking most of all in their clients. Like their clients become a samurai loyal to them. I mean, what that means is that any product that comes out from Apple, those people only buy Apple and they don't buy anything else. That's the type of consumer behavior in a company that I like to look at. Those are the type of companies that I like to invest in, because I don't care what's going to come up in the future. I know those people are still going to consume those items, not because they have something significantly better when it comes to innovation, but they have significantly better in bringing that feature to the client. So that's the missing part that I don't see in Microsoft. So you see, if I, you can see that I'm making the connection here. You can see that I already know in my head that there's a better company. Now, you guys haven't learned the consolidation part, right? If you're beginners, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I'm going to talk about in the further upcoming videos that you could find a better company, right? But if you're investing in 20 companies, just remember the basic rule that I said. Find like 15, 10 companies, let's say 10 companies, and in those 10 companies, five companies that you understand the most, right? And in those 5 companies, which one is the best, right? Even if those 5 companies are incredible, which one is still the best? Which ones, like let's say, which are the 3 that are still the best, right? And if those 3 come out to be the best in the rest of the 2, then you don't invest in those 2, you just invest in the 3. That's the methodology that I use to invest, because the whole point of doing that is that it literally eradicates the amount of ignorance you can have when it comes to investing. Listen, the most destructive thing that could reduce your gains in an investment is your own ignorance. It's the fact that you didn't understand a company fully. So by this reason, logically, the most that you can mitigate your ignorance is to only invest in things you almost 100% understand. So I know naturally a lot of people hearing this, they're not going to understand AI, right? Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn AI. No, you can learn AI, but at the end of the day, you can't understand everything. And that's the whole point why I continuously say that in the market, you do not have to be smart. Absolutely. And I think you guys know that by now, by what we've been talking about. You can see that in the market, it's not about being smart. It's actually about being prudent and knowing the facts when others don't want to do the facts, right? Because that leaves you with a decision of which it goes like this. Charlie said this very well. He says the reason why we've done so well is because we've competed against a lot of smart idiots. And when you have a lot of smart idiots, you have a lot of opportunities. Well, that's the same thing what's going on here, right? That was kind of in a harsh way, but he just said it in a good way. It really is like that. The whole point here is to just not be an idiot and to do the things with rationality, is to just do the investment, not because it looks like a good investment. No, it's because it is a good investment. You did the analysis, you did the research, it makes perfect sense, you understand it 100%. And this just comes with great results, because if the share price of that company comes down, and no matter what the media sends to you, no matter what your neighbor, whatever, no matter whoever tells you about the company, that just whatever comes in one year comes out, because you're not relying on the result of what you're investing in that company because another person is telling you to invest. You're actually investing in that company because you understand the company fully, because you read their documents. You talked almost one-to-one with the owner, with the CEO. You know how it is in the company. You know what they're selling. You know what their core values is. Not because their X products sold less than this year's and their earnings went down, which means it's a bad outlook for the company. All that stuff is bullshit. Sorry for my language, but it really is. All that stuff is bullshit. It's not about earnings. It's about what the company's selling. What are they selling? What are they selling? Is it a service? Is it a product? And most of all, is it valuable, right? What is the core value? Okay. Yeah, again, remember that. Just find like that example. If you're doing diversification, find 10 companies and then find which of those 10 companies, if you can narrow it down to 5 companies that are absolutely the best, and then you keep narrowing it down to like only the 3. It kind of reminds you like of a Russian doll. It's like in a Russian doll, if you guys don't know, a Russian doll comes with one big doll, and if you open the doll, there's like another doll, open that doll, there's like another doll. It like keeps narrowing it down, right? But to me, this is like the holy grail. Like how Ray Dalio says it, to me, that's really the holy grail of investing. I really don't see anything else that can be better than that, because the only way how you can really lose an investment is by your ignorance, right? And humans have naturally by ignorance. I mean, it's inevitable to have ignorance, but what's best of all is to avoid as much ignorance as possible. Hence, your losses are going to be lower, right? So automatically, the opportunities that come in are going to be great. Listen, opportunities does not mean that you need to invest in the most innovative company, right? You need to invest in the most hottest idea out there. No, because 1, everyone else is doing that. 2, you don't understand it. And 3, all those 2, right? Like 1 is that if you don't understand it, or no, I said that 1, everyone is doing it. Majority of people in the market don't do well. So you don't want to get into something just because a lot of people are doing it. In fact, sometimes when a lot of people are getting into one thing, I like to look at another thing, because something that isn't seen in a sector is growing behind the scenes. That happens all the time in the market, right? And that's something that you want to look at oftenly. You don't want to look at the things that are super hot. In fact, the most valuable investments that can come to your journey in the markets are going to be the things that are not even being looked at, because those are the opportunities people don't see. And 2 is that, 2 is the worst. 2 is that you don't understand it. When you don't understand the investment you're doing, almost 100%, you're not, it's just not the same. You're not gonna act accordingly when the company makes a decision in their capital per se, when they make a decision in their stock, when they make a decision in their administration, like changing the CEO. Any of these sorts of things are always going to affect you. And quite frankly, if you don't understand the company a lot, you're going to be more prone towards another person telling you something about that company, and maybe you might sell, right? It doesn't make sense. And this is what I don't want you to do. That's why my main goal in this course is to really teach you how to fish. It's to teach you how to fish, and that you don't listen to anything, the bullshit, whatever anyone says. That's really the whole point here. And yeah, all right then. So let's get back to the video.
It's competition, that's for sure, for the cloud. It's definitely competition. In addition, we offer several cloud-based solutions to address specific customer needs with certain industries, including communication, construction, engineering, education, financial services, government, healthcare, hospitality, manufacturing, retail, and among others. Customers, partners, and other interested parties may elect to subscribe to Oracle applications and infrastructure training and certifications programs through a variety of online cloud-based learning subscriptions offered by Oracle University. Learners generally have unlimited access to course content delivered during the subscription period. We believe that the comprehensive breadth of our SaaS offerings as a business innovation platform differentiate us from many competitors that offer more limited or specialized applications. Our SaaS offerings are designed to support connected business processing in the cloud and are centered on an intuitive, conversational user experience, a responsive, open, and flexible business core, and customer common data model. Yeah, but here's the problem. All right, here's the problem. The problem comes in that, but again, our Oracle can do the same thing, but it's just the biggest problem that I have with Oracle is what I just said. They can't use Wiley Open to get email or to get a means of an easy contact that people use nowadays. They can't do that only with the contact with actually getting Oracle to be connected with Microsoft's email to connect with their, and that's hilarious. It's like, let's say your bathroom was in the backyard of your neighbor's yard, and that neighbor is one of your biggest rivals in your business. It's going to be pretty hilarious that the only bathroom you have to go is there. And that's kind of the same thing what I see with Oracle in terms of its cloud, because it needs to get these people from somewhere. Now, again, these are data analytics. But how can you outbound data analytics in a great way to give it to the customers? That's what a business is doing as well. Many businesses have customers. They don't just have business to business. It's still business to customer. And on top of that, not many of consumers of regular people, like people watching here, are going to go to Oracle because only big organizations do that. So, and Amazon is already doing that, right? So that's kind of like it's a tough competition with Oracle and Amazon with that. But Microsoft and Google have something that none of these two guys have. They already have something to put it to somewhere. So I wouldn't bet Microsoft on cloud. That's me. Right? That's what I understand. But that's just because I don't understand cloud enough, really. So I can give you a clear answer, and I don't want to confuse you. I don't understand cloud enough to distinct which one has an enormous difference. But I for sure understand Microsoft's productivity in business, and I understand its operating systems or personal computing, right? So that comprises about 60% of the revenue. If we look at Microsoft here, yeah, you have about 62%. So how was it last year? 2021. Okay, this was 64%. Again, they're focusing on these two areas. There's just a problem that I have with here, right? The problem is that Microsoft, well, here's the thing. These two segments are going to continue to go up, right? And this segment will go anywhere, to be honest, because there's not a clear dominance there. But these two are definitely going to go up, for sure. This one, for sure. This one too. So yeah, that's up to you. That's really up to you. For me, I wouldn't see it as that's completely up to you. You want to know why I believe that? It's because I don't understand cloud that much to that point. So what I want you to do is basically do what exactly I just did, right? Right. I was looking at intelligent cloud. But here's the thing though, right? Microsoft offers a lot of the cloud that you can use with what you have in your computer. So it's much more easily usable if you already have your documents in Dynamics and these different applications as well in order to, and to store it to your computer. But I mean, you will be storing it on the network really. But yeah, that is not so different. It's really not so different. But there's almost the same amount of development. but there's better, let's say, security with software when it comes to Microsoft than anyone else. So there could be means of delegating data at a high rate. You see, but I wouldn't look when I invest in something. There has to be a margin of difference. There has to be like a big clarity there, like a common sense area. I don't see much of a common sense area. There's just one that's better, but not a huge better, right? That's for me. I think someone can be able to fill that gap that I can't, and I think that's perfectly fine. So what I want you to do is look. This is a great company, right? These two areas, where are they? These two areas right over here are dominant. And for me, I want you to study that. I want you to learn these three areas, and I want you to know what are the other competitors doing and what its customer wants. And I'm pretty sure everyone here is kind of a customer of Microsoft to use their services. And so, right. But yeah, I mean, that's where they're making majority of their money. That was productivity, enterprises value. And look, personal computing, for example, this has to do Windows. This this as of itself is something that I would bet the biggest. I understand this like in the back of my head. This is what I bet, and what, in my view, makes Microsoft more valuable. It's its main dominant product. These other services, yeah, they do, right? But in terms of not even coming close of people doing the same thing is these items right here. Xbox. I mean, Sony doesn't even come remotely even light years. They wish they were in Microsoft's position. They're light years. Have the Sony's too a bit stuck with the past in a way with hardware and devices. Microsoft put a lot of that in digital, like the apps, and so they excelled a lot into that, and they're excelling hugely, and consumers will still use that. But that makes up about like 62%. I would have been more comfortable if that would have been maybe 70 to 80% of their revenue, but it's not. It's definitely a very strong company. It's an amazing company, but it's up to you to really know if this company's a diamond. And if it's not a diamond, if you get the same conclusion like what I have, then it's not. You can find other businesses, really. Because the other thing, it doesn't matter whether it's Microsoft. That's just its name. What is it selling really? What are the dominants there, right? Who cares? Because it's what you understand. So if you don't get that gap, if you don't fill that gap, you can find other way better businesses that you understand for sure that are going to make money and that are selling their main dominant products.
And plus, one of the other main reasons why I don't invest in companies that are just amazing, that I invest in companies that I fully understand and that are the best companies, is because primarily if I invest in Microsoft per se, which is a company I don't completely understand, because 62% of the revenue is coming from business productivity and personal computing, which is Windows operating system, and then that other segment is Office 365, Dynamics 65, etc. But then you have the remaining percentages of its revenue that is coming out of the intelligent cloud, which is most of all via Azure. The problem with this is that I can't tell you, neither can I tell myself, neither can I figure out myself, that this company is sure to make even more of my projected amount of intrinsic value, just get discounted cash flow, in the next 20 to 30 years. That's the biggest problem I have. That's why I don't invest in any company. I invest in very, very selective companies, because if I'm very selective in what I choose, and I understand something full percent compared to Microsoft, I know that company I'm selecting in is going to make X amount, more than X amount, in the next, most of all, in a long time. What's a long time? We're talking about 30 years or more than 40 years. Those are the type of projections I make, and those projections are much more solidified when I understand a company's full products. What if it's selling, whatever it's selling its most, if that's dominant in what it's doing, if that's the core value, right? And so I don't see that. So by that, I can't, out of all the steps that I explained, on top of that, I can't even know if this company is going to, most of all, make more money in the next 30 years, right? Because some of you might be thinking, like, how does he know that this company is going to last that long? It's primarily because of the amount of, it also has to do with intuitively, but it also has to do because of the understanding of their product and knowing how strong it is, and knowing how, that consumer behavior of wanting that demand, and understanding how the company takes upon evolution per se, that sort of thing. But that's why I don't feel comfortable putting my money in Microsoft, despite it being a very great company. Because yeah, it's a very great company, but I don't know if this very great company is going to make more money in the next 30 years. Not because it's not because it's a great company. Listen, if your reason to invest for a long time is because you saw that it's a really great company, don't invest, get out of the stock market. I'm that serious, because you can't choose to invest in something just because it's a great company. That's not, don't lay that on me. You need to invest in a company because of a specific reason, and a reason that you can tell me very shortly. I always say, like, I think this is really great advice. You want to invest in a company or in a business that literally, if an 8-year-old walked to you, you can explain to them why you made the investment in maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And if the 8-year-old understood like the value of that business and they knew why you invested into it, then it's a good reason that it is a good investment. The point here is to be simple. It's not to make it complex, because complex businesses by that nature are not really the best businesses, because there's a lot of laid out work that you don't see out clearly, and it's mostly what's supplying the value of what the company is progressing with their cash flow. And I don't like when that cash flow progression isn't coming independently from their products, because it makes them much more vulnerable towards competitors per se, or towards any economic swings per se. You see, like, those are just sort of measures of my unpredictability. So I don't like when the probability towards the unpredictable area gets bigger, because it's beyond my control of measuring whether this company is going to make more cash flow in the next 30 years. And not a surety of projecting isn't going to give me an accuracy of how much I can depreciate the business, depending on how valuable it is. And on top of that, I don't even know the full opportunity cost of it. You see, like, there's so many disadvantages of me just investing in a company just because it's great. Okay, so that's one of the primary reasons why I'm very, very selective on what I invest in. I don't invest in companies just because their market cap is big or because they're the biggest companies. I invest in companies because I fully understand them. So that could be either a company that's really big, or that can be a company that no one has ever heard before. Why? Because I don't care about how big it is or how much people know about it. I care what the company's doing independently to sell to their clients. What are they giving in value that that client can't get anywhere else? Those are the type of businesses you want to look for. And to know that, you have to fully understand the business. You have to fully understand what they're selling based upon their core value of what's going to make that client come back tomorrow, because they can't get that service, that specific product bundled up by different features that another company can't do, right? And the type of expectancy for that product deliverancy. Those are the type of attributes I like to look for. And other sort of core values, like what I explained with the chocolate business example. So those are the type of businesses that I like, that they just project, that they focus on an area. Not that the business is trying to give more valuable products and then people just consume it because it's what it is and it's the only thing that's out there. I preferably don't like to, this is now me, I don't like to invest in businesses like that, because it doesn't make it independent. I just really, at the end of this, I like to invest in businesses that are fully independent, because they make them less vulnerable towards industry swings, economic swings, that a business was able to give a solution that this business was trying to do, and they just made it better, or maybe they're in denial. You see, these are just measurements that you completely would have avoided if you only invest in companies that you fully understand, not companies that seem really good. Okay, so this is the lesson that I wanted to give to you guys. Don't invest in companies that are really good. Invest in companies that you understand. Those are by definitions. That by definition is value investing to me. Because what I can perceive to be a bad investment could be a really good investment to you. This is such a great rule to have invested. I think that's a very rare thing to have. I don't think many people have said that, but to be honest, value investing is investment that you understand fully, and whether or not I understand the investment is nothing to measure whether your investment was valuable, because I don't understand everything, but neither do you understand everything. So by that, you should only invest in things that you own full competency, whether that investment is a little small company, a little medium company, or bigger company. The size does not matter. What matters is what they're selling, their cash flow, their net income, their sales, their environments, their brand, that sort of protocols, and to look at the value in their products or services. Okay.
Also, I wanted to explain this because I just realized this. Look, the reason why, because probably a bit of you might be saying like, but you saw the products there are so dominant. No one can compare to them. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't care. I understand. Microsoft, I would bet on those two things that I said before. Personal computing, without a doubt, and business productivity applications, without a doubt. Right? But that makes up 62% of the revenue. That shows that they're not selling the most what they're doing. People are using more of the cloud, and I don't understand the cloud as much, right? What does that show? Yes, I know the business can make money, but I don't know with the certainty that it can make money in a long time. And that's the way how I invest. Maybe in 10 years, it can just still go up and do whatever, but I invest in things that I have such a high accuracy by that from 70 to 80% of its revenue. And I know for sure it can do that. If that's 70 to 80% of its revenue, I would say for sure that Microsoft would last for about more than 20 years. More than, no, not even that, like more than 30 years. Not because I just realized that the other parts of value with the operating system, more than 30 years, at least. I don't know more than that. They could still make money. But what I'm basically saying, I know without a doubt that they could make more and more and more money consistently in 30 years, a little bit more than 30 years. I don't have that for Microsoft. I don't have that sort of long projection because I don't have the adequate percentage for me to feel comfortable that that's what they're selling the most. And when it's not selling the most in something else that I don't understand compared to the others, and I don't know which one's the clear, significant margin winner, I don't like to. It's not that it's a bad investment, but I know I can find much better investments. Okay, because I invest for the long term. I invest for 20 to 30 to 40 years, and you guys should do the same, right? But you guys can find the value of the cloud that I couldn't, and you were able to find that. And if you do, you understand it, and it's dominant. Let's say if it's dominant, Microsoft would be an amazing investment because all the areas there are making up and totally, and they're dominating all of them. So, yeah, that would be now up to you how you project. But remember, the whole point about investing is just to put money down so you can get more on later on. That's the whole point. So that's why you only need to invest in things you really understand. That's just all it is. That's why, well, I've thought about this for years, but I've come upon by maturity to understand why people do the things that they do. Because I used to think before, like, why do people just invest in things that are so innovative per se, or things that will change the world if they don't understand it? Like, it just didn't connect with me. And it's just because people, well, psychologically and also emotionally, people, one, they don't know what they're doing. And two, they stick upon their investments based upon a group thinking that if more people, what goes on in their brain is that they think that if more people say that there's a better investment, then that's a fact now, that there is a better investment. And that's very, 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 very dangerous. You do not want to be doing that. You never ever should depict upon investment that's better or not just because a group of people are saying it's a better investment. In fact, that's when you should become more cautious, because a lot of the things that are proving the business to be better is not based on what the business is actually doing now. It's based upon an opinion about the business, but it's not a fact anymore. But now, that's one why I didn't understand it. But two, I also understand that people just believe that they depict value based upon complexity. And I think that's very natural when I look about it now, because it's normal for humans to understand what they don't understand by thinking that it's complex, when in reality it's not. You have to think about it logically, that if someone's able to do something that you didn't think before, then how in the world do you think they did it? It's by simplifying it. It's not by complexing it. That's just pure common sense. No one can solve anything if they make something complicated, because they themselves are learning the process of developing what they're doing. How can you develop something? You have never in your life have developed something because you made it more complicated. That's just not the way how it works. You develop something by making it more simple. That's the same thing what goes on in investing. In investing, you need to keep it simple. It's like that's the KISS, right? Keep it as simple as possible. Same rule. The same thing with investing. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So again, remember the rule, you put money down now and you get more later on. So what that means is you invest in whatever you want, right? You invest in whatever you see to be valuable, because at the end of the day, what's going to come out to be more valuable is based upon what you can see with full certainty what will give you return. That's the value of investing. A lot of people have their own rules of investing, and some people have the opposite of what I'm saying. But from what I've learned from the best investor in the world, like Warren Buffett praises this all the time, and I follow the same rule. It's the fact that, look, it's not about hitting home runs. It's not about you swinging at everything that comes at you. That's not what gives you results. What gives you result in investing is by being consistent. And a lot of the times by being consistent, you have to be a turtle investor. You want to see things in the long term. You're not going to invest in something saying that it's going to make you X amount and 1 to 30, but you're risking this amount that could take about 70% of it. That doesn't make sense. You can avoid all that by just hitting things that are just a no-brainer of returns that are going to compound. Right? And the compound interest is what's going to boost you all the time. It's not about the returns, actually. It's most of all the compound interest. And compound interest actually accumulates when you invest in over time with other good investments that you choose, but also by reinvesting. But you don't get a compound interest if you don't make a good investment.
A good investment by nature is an investment that makes a good return over a long time. So naturally, we can all say with certainty that not every company in the world is going to last for a long time. Neither is it going to make consistent cash flow for a long time. So you see what I'm getting? You want to find the companies that are very short in the world that will make that with full certainty that you can see, not because other people are saying it, but because you know it, because you understand it. You understand the product, and you can see with certainty without me saying that, oh yeah, this product or service is going to stay here. I don't know what it's going to be called in the next 10 to 20 years, because that's how evolution works. But I know the environment and approach towards their products and services are going to stay the same and improve. And that's a part of portion of why I'm investing in the company. Why I know that their cash flows are going to do an extra based upon what they're selling, and upon that they're increasing their cash flows. They're increasing their sales. They're increasing their revenue. They're increasing their net income. They're increasing their free cash flow. They're increasing their net operating cash flow. This is the type of thing that I'm saying. So that's why it doesn't matter whether you invest in a small company, big company that has nothing to do with it. You're investing in a company all simply because you know this company is worth $10, and you know in 8 years to 10 years by its intrinsic value discounted by inflation, it's going to be worth $100. That's all there is about investing. That's every investment what you want to look for. There's nothing magical about it. When you look at a company, you know this company is a money-making machine. You know it's worth maybe $30, and you know that in 20 years it's going to be worth $250. That's simple. But you only get those valuations if you understand the company fully. Not because it's a good company, not because it's a perfect company. No, because you understand it. If you understand a company, you know it's a good investment. You know with certainty that you're probably one. If it's overvalued, then you know it's overvalued. Right? You're not saying it's overvalued because other people are saying it's overvalued. You know it's overvalued because it doesn't make the valuation in the market price doesn't make sense towards what they're factually selling, towards what they're factually worth based upon compounded returns. But if the company's worth less, which means that the market price is offering the business at a less price compared to what they can actually produce, what they can actually offer in terms of the products or services, then there's a full 100% reason that you should invest into it. That's called a really good investment. Okay, those are investments you want to do.